Welcome back. Look, man, y'all been tagging me in a bunch of cool videos. It's a lot that's been going on, man. A lot of the stuff that we've been covering on the channel is coming true as of lately, and it's weird, but it's not surprising. But at the same time, you know, they said that a UFO crashed in DC, Raleigh, a bunch of other states, Italy, all across the world now. And then we're gonna get into this video, man. Just make sure y'all going out here to do your own damn research. I am not in charge of what you believe in, okay? But look, man, make sure you know, you put your real opinions in the comments down below. Share these videos with your friends and family. 60% of the people that watch this channel aren't even subscribed. Go ahead, subscribe to the channel. We're growing by the daily, and I do appreciate y'all. You know what I'm saying? Every like is definitely appreciated. Let's get this like 20,000 likes. Let's get into this video. Positive vibes only. Just know if you're going through a tough time, we're going through this thing called life together. You're never in it by yourself. Blah.
If you're not an alien that has recently crashed here on Earth or has been secretly living among us for years, please scroll. Alright, it's just us now. Everybody's talking about you. The government's talking about you. The news is talking about you. The citizens are talking about you. But I'm going to talk directly to you because I know you're on TikTok. You're monitoring it. I mean, welcome to Earth. I don't want to hurt your feelings, but we could give two shits. We're tired of waiting. If you're going to do something, just do it. I mean, if you were searching for intelligent life, you took a wrong turn at Albuquerque. If you're an advanced civilization and you can speed this slow-mo apocalypse up for us, please help us out. Take me to your leader is a little complicated right now. If you're a humane race and have some extra space on your ships, there's some folks in Upper East Tennessee and North Carolina that could use some supplies. I'm just saying, if you're going to be here and you're going to be quiet about it, you might as well help. But like if you stood up right now and said, hey y'all, I'm a real alien, that would be the least weird thing that has happened in years. I don't know why you picked America. You're here illegally. And right now, you're facing fines from the FAA, the EPA, New Mexico State Police. Now, we know the ones that have been here for a while ain't paying taxes. This ain't a free ride, so you're going to suffer like the rest of us. Oh shit, leave my butthole alone.
So an update and a thought that I had about the situation last night when I heard that loud crashing noise and I went outside and saw all this. I keep getting comments like the one up here, and I'm glad that other people heard this sound because at least I know I'm not crazy, right? And that definitely happened, and you can't just make that up. But the comments are saying they heard a crash in Maryland, they're hearing crashes in New Jersey, and they're seeing and hearing crashes in North Carolina, but that's kind of far apart. So I'm wondering, like, what happened so big that we heard it in these different areas, or was it multiple crashes? Another concerning thing is still have not seen anything on the news when I know for a fact there was police activity going in that direction, sending additional units till 3 a.m. So would someone tell me what the heck's going on here, or is this like the most blatant, sloppiest cover-up we've seen?
Hundreds of police officers, military personnel, and other security agencies have rushed to DC after a gigantic UFO makes astonishing entrance to Earth, leaving a contrail so large and wide that suggests the craft is huge. Hundreds of eyewitnesses described the ground shake beneath them as an almost deafening bang enveloped the skies as the craft entered the atmosphere. Unfortunately, I am in Ireland and have just awoken to the mind-blowing news about the incident. Of course, I'll keep you updated, horror fam. Please stay safe. Don't approach the object. Although the area is cordoned off, some people will still try to get past the security, and their curiosity will drive them to want to see for themselves. Sit tight, and I'll update you all ASAP.
What's going on here? Oh, mama. Yes? Captain, no police? Man. Everywhere, what's going on? And it's quiet, as if they're waiting for something, expecting something, preparing for something. Look over here, let's walk over here. Come on, let's walk over here. Morning. You got all this? What's going on here? Let's turn around, look at that again, man. Turn around, look at that. Let them see it. What's going on here? Oh.
Okay, I do not know what's going on right now. I heard a noise. I come outside. There's sirens blaring. and I see this huge trail in the sky. It's midnight right now, and there's this huge trail like something crash landed. What the heck is that?
Crazy.
What is this?
When I tell you that this motherfucker was huge, and then not even 12 minutes after it just so happened to crash, I guess? I don't know, I heard a loud explosion. All I heard was a fuck ton of police cars in the distance. I mean a fuck ton of police cars, okay? So I just so happened to go on TikTok because I'm like, I wonder if anybody else is talking about this right now.
Damn, this music is intense, man. I'm like, yo, is it gonna hit the ground already? Damn, like, am I tripping? I ain't tripping, y'all. I ain't tripping. It's still falling, y'all.
Oh shit! What the fuck? Oh my god! Oh my fucking god! What?
Hey, that's how we can identify this as being an authentic video.
Oh my god! Whoa! Whoa! Oh shit! What the fuck is going on right now? They fucking Demona up. What the fuck? Look at this shit. Bro, this some next level shit right here. Look at this shit. Whoa. Look how many is coming down. Oh my God. What the fuck? Bro, it's like Independence Day out. Oh shit. What? Whoa. Ain't no way. Ain't no fucking way. Whoa. What the fuck, bro?
I ain't gonna lie. That's damn interesting, but I mean, What that could be like blue beam. I think I'm getting blue beam vibes. They getting y'all prepped so they can some y'all do y'all believe in that? Let me know if y'all believe that in the comments down below. Or these legit aliens that's coming down from the sky. I ain't forcing you to believe nothing, but you tell me what it look like.
So I was a part of the 3 a.m. club that was awake because of all of the noise going on about Washington, D.C. and something crashing. Finally went to sleep at 8, got up, and I can tell you a lot of the videos that I originally saw between 3 and right about 5:30, a lot of them are gone. So the news is not talking about it, but whatever it is absolutely 110% important.
Shh. It's early in the morning on the U.S. Capitol grounds. And man, security and law enforcement is everywhere. Walk with me. Look at this. What is going on? Have you ever seen something like this with Capitol Hill police? Man. Everywhere. What's going on? And it's quiet, as if they're waiting for something, expecting something, preparing for something. Look.
Y'all see on that little map right there, it's showing where the flight traffic is at. Everything else is sitting there now, and you just see one helicopter circling a particular area. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about that.
Here, let's walk up here. Come on. Let's walk over here. Morning. You got all this? What's going on here? Let's go. Let's turn around and look at that again. Man, turn around and look at that. Let them see that. What's going on in here? Oh, my. I'm going to figure, I mean, it's as if the entire law enforcement force is here early in the morning. I'll get back to you, okay? Something's going on. You got to do some research. I got to see if there's some threats. If there's something big going on in the nation's capital, I'll figure it out. Stand by.
Aliens will be here in 3 weeks.
For those of you who are unaware, the James Webb Telescope detected an armada of ships headed towards Earth at light speed. Non-human life forms headed towards Earth. ETA, estimated time of arrival, 3 weeks. Yes, I'm so ready for this. Like, finally. Also, just because they're in their ships coming over here, that just means that those are the specific people in the Federation, or beings in the Federation, who do not move with 0-point technology, because a lot of them have 0-point technology where they move through the vibration of existence. They don't travel through time-space. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Anyways, so what the James Webb Telescope can see coming towards us is just a fraction of what's actually going to be here, and those that are already here. Because there are thousands and thousands and thousands of ships already in the sky. We just cannot see them because they are either cloaked or they are hovering between dimensions. Anyways, just a little food for thought, a little rabbit hole for you. Okay, bye.
I just want to let y'all know, that video right there, what she said we had in 3 weeks, that video I think was like sometime last year. And remember, there's always been stories about a group of beings that's coming here, but it's just fascinating to see things current days, like, you know, speeding up and shit is starting to happen. What we already talked about is It's kind of wild. It gives you a weird sensation, right? But I'm still not afraid. Shit, we've been talking about this, right?
Okay, but why is it blank?
Look, this is the incident report about like what was happening in the DMV area. You know, they give you a description of what happens and you know who, what, when, why, where type things, right? On this is showing that they don't give you a description really of an incident report.
Blank. Why is it not telling us what it is? All the other ones look like this. It tells you what happened and where and what to do. But this one's blank.
So we have a huge update on what actually happened in Washington, D.C., where many people seen something huge traveling through the sky, leaving a trail of smoke behind it, and crash landing somewhere in D.C., causing a huge police reaction. I'll say this. Things are being censored. So the people who are asking, where's the videos? Why is it not on the news? You're asking the right question, but think about that. If something to that magnitude were to transpire in your country, why would you think that your government, why would you think that your news media, why would you think this information will be provided to the masses? If that were to happen, things will get very, very strange here in this country. But I want to say this. It didn't just happen here in America. And there are countries right now where the same thing happened and they're not censoring the information. Those videos are circulating. And you can see something walking that looks like a human, but it's walking on all fours. And it when you zoom into the face, it's pretty interesting. So I'm going to say, watch the world right now. Don't look necessarily in America what happened. Go find out what happened in other countries so you can see exactly why people like me are saying, they're here. I'm out.
When Wernher von Braun was dying of cancer, he asked me to be his spokesperson, to appear on occasions when he was too ill to speak. And I did. And what he asked me to do was to educate decision makers and the public about why we shouldn't be putting weapons in space, why they're a dangerous, destabilizing, too costly, unnecessary, untestable, unworkable idea, and what the alternatives are, how we could be building a cooperative space system. What was most interesting to me was a repetitive sentence that he said to me over and over again during the approximately 4 years that I had the opportunity of working with him, and that was the strategy that was being used to educate the public and decision makers, and the scare tactics, the spin that was being put on a weapons system. And that was how we identify an enemy. The enemy, at first he said, the enemy against whom we're going to build a space-based weapons system that he thought was a ridiculous idea, unnecessary and very dangerous, not to mention too costly, etc. The strategy that Wernher von Braun taught me was that first the Russians are going to be considered to be the enemy. In fact, when I met him in '74, they were the enemy, the identified enemy. We were told that they had killer satellites. We were told that they were coming to get us and control us, the dirty commies, that whole story. First, the Russians were the enemy against whom we're going to build space-based weapons. Then terrorists would be identified, and that was soon to follow. We heard a lot about terrorism. Then we were going to identify third world country crazies. We now call them nations of concern. But he said that would be the third enemy against whom we would be needing to build space-based weapons. And the next enemy was asteroids. Now at this point, he kind of chuckled the first time he said it. Asteroids, against asteroids, we're going to build space-based weapons. So it was funny then. And the funniest one of all was against what he called aliens, extraterrestrials. That would be the final card. And over and over and over during the 4 years that I knew him and was giving his speeches for him, he would bring up that last card. And remember, Carol, the last card is the alien card. We're going to have to build space-based weapons against aliens. And all of it, he said, is a lie. A lie. So when I hear that there's a possible threat of extraterrestrials, and I look at the history of thousands of years of possible visitations, recorded history, and when I hear now the stories of the disclosures of honest military intelligence industry people who have had experiences with UFOs, with crashes and landings, with live or dead bodies of extraterrestrial beings, people from out in the universes. And if I'm ever told that these are enemies against whom we have to build space-based weapon systems, based on my own personal experience of having worked in the military-industrial complex on weapon systems and military strategy, I'm going to know it's a lie. It's a lie. And I'm not only not going to believe it, but I'm going to go out as loudly as I can and tell everyone to take a look. They have not taken us away yet. We're still here after thousands of years of visits. If in fact they're still visiting us now and people are working with ETs, live or dead, if they're taking photographs, if they're experiencing all kinds of UFO experiences, then we have to look at this as something that is not a hostile occurrence. It would be my guess, based on my own experience of having traveled to countries whom we've been told had hostile intentions against the United States, it would be my hope and my intention to do everything I could to work with people who are working to communicate with and cooperate with these extraterrestrial beings, because they're clearly not hostile.
Lockheed right now, there are craft that can go to Mars in a few hours, right now in Lockheed. And this show is talking about the aliens are traveling at certain percentages of the speed of light. That was one problem I had with it, is the engineering and physics. The other problem I had is the whole show took place within the context of a very reductionist, materialist paradigm that did not acknowledge psi, didn't acknowledge ESP and psychokinesis, and the fact that these aliens would probably have these abilities, to a much greater degree than terrestrial humanity. There is this shack on the side of a highway in California that looks like some nondescript warehouse, small warehouse. And you go into this warehouse, and the whole floor of the warehouse is an elevator. And it drops Lord knows how many hundreds of feet. What this guy said is that they are not only reverse engineering craft from retrieved debris in this facility, but they're actually training pilots to fly them. And he told me that the main problem that they have in that training program is that the pilots experience extreme disorientation because of the warping of space-time by these craft. This is one of the main reasons this technology is being hidden, because they discovered very early on that these are not simply devices with propulsion systems capable of navigating space very quickly, like they can take you from New York to Australia and, right? They're flying time machines. They warp time as they traverse space.
Right.
And our pilots don't know how to handle that. They have a very hard time. They get disoriented, temporally disoriented. They get their sense of the passage of time gets really messed with. The technological singularity is this moment when you have a convergent advancement of all kinds of technologies, from genetic engineering to nanotech to artificial intelligence, cybernetics, and so forth. And they start to advance exponentially, so that it's no longer a curve slowly sloping up, right? It becomes a spike on a graph. The curve becomes a spike. There's such an acceleration in the development of these technologies, and any one of them facilitates breakthroughs in the others at such a speed where all of them converge in a way that the human mind is no longer capable of wrapping itself around. And we call it a singularity or a spike on the graph of the history of human technological development, because past that spike, we can't project anymore from the past into the future. It's a limit on our human capacity to project what future developments may take place on the other side of that singularity.
Is there a chance that stadiums around the world, like the Mercedes-Benz Dome in Atlanta, Georgia, are energy harvesters? Only I'm not talking electric energy. I'm talking human energy, otherwise known as loosh. You see, loosh is a relatively new term, and basically what it is energy generated by organic life, and one of the purest forms of that is through human activity. And well, these stadiums sure do generate a lot of human activity. And I'm not only talking about the form in physical activity, because we all know that exists to the nth degree in these stadiums, but I'm including emotional activity too, because in these stadiums, emotions can ride high and they can ride low, and that you can be happy and you can be angry. And you might think I'm a little crazy for thinking this, but why don't you take a look at this picture? On the left, we have Atlanta, Georgia, and the Mercedes-Benz Dome. And on the right, we have a motherboard. They look kind of similar, wouldn't you say? Now, I'm not one to believe in the simulation theory, but I'll tell you something I do fully believe in. I believe that once there were monstrous beings that walked this earth. Here's an example, because when you take a different perspective, you see exactly what this mountain was. This is the Garden of the Gods in Colorado. And if these enormous beings once upon a time existed, is there a chance that maybe they still do? You see, I first saw this video of what was captured next to the moon when I wasn't fully aware of the giant beings that once existed here, so I thought this was CGI or a hologram, but I'm not so sure now. I'm not so sure at all. In fact, what if, just what if, that we are on a tiny little section of something much, much, much larger, and these beings still exist outside of the firmament, and we're just living in their little energy source. And when they need a little boost to a certain section of their motherboard, well, they create positive energy or they create negative energy. You see, I've been thinking sports are fixed for a while now, but I used to think it was for money. Maybe it's something for a much, much, much different purpose. Maybe they're fixed so the right parts of the country or even the earth get the right boost of energy when they need it. But of course, this is all for entertainment purposes. I know that this city looks exactly like a motherboard and that the stadium is exactly like the motherboard main component, just because it's coincidental. And I also know that no giant beings once existed here. It's just complete pareidolia. And that loosh definitely doesn't exist. I'm just doing this for the views and the entertainment. You should know that by now, people. Entertainment only.
Okay, we're back. There's now 5. Weird.
Let me know, like, because I heard that these incidents happen in, like, Italy, you know, France, whatever you want to call it, DC, Raleigh. Let me know if we're missing something. Did other states hear and see objects falling out the sky? Could it be satellites? Do you think that it could be UFOs? Now, my next set of questions are they man-made? Because y'all know, look, everybody got their own opinions on this stuff, and it's important that we share these with each other. I don't think you're crazy regardless of what you believe, because it is strange, the stuff that we're witnessing here. We can all agree on that. Like, goddamn, at least by anything, it's definitely strange, and it's definitely adding up to the stuff that we've been talking about. But are we missing any places where these landings, quote unquote, happen? I'm gonna keep watching though, but this.
We're totally, wow. Ryan and I are absolutely freaking out, dude. We do not know what this is over Point Loma.
This is a video live. You guys can see this is the airport
facing west. They've had 2 grouped. Now there's 5. It's definitely some sort of pattern-ish thing going on. Bright orange lights. Does not look like white lighting. And you'll notice the bottom left one just went out. You can see up in the top right of the screen there's a plane flying. It's clearly a plane. Now that bottom right one went out. What's weird is they're so static, dude. I mean, could they be drones with super bright lights on them? Yeah, I don't think so either.
Is it a mountain back there with like you know, those poles on it, and then you know the little beeping lights on it? Could it be that? Is it a mountain? I don't know.
Definitely pulsating light. There's a plane in the foreground taking off, obviously.
So let's see if Skidmark has anything interesting to say. I see your judgy eyes.
Yeah, very much so.
I want to talk to you.
What about?
Vampires.
Yeah, what about it?
About the fact that they rule the world.
Well, it's close. It's not like what people think. They don't turn into bats. They're visible in a mirror. If you don't kill them with a wooden stake, they'll die if you shoot them just like anybody else. But what there is people that have a higher concentration of the bloodline within them. So those who have more of the concentration of the bloodline from the gods, who was aliens, by the way, that made the human race, if you got more of that concentration of the 13 bloodlines, then you are one of those. Like
Disney,
kind of
Rothschild, Rockefeller.
Well, they like blood because they've become addicted to it for two reasons. They do eat regular food, by the way, too. They don't.
Absolutely, natural flavors.
And they can be in the sun, but they don't like to be in the sun very long because they have more of the alien DNA. The aliens can't stand the sun, that's why they live underground. So the vampires do the same. They tend to avoid it in 1 to 2 minutes in the sun, not feeling too hot. It's not good for them. Burns your skin easily. But they are the blue bloods. People talk about the blue bloods, and so many of the royals, like the Russian royalty, have been caught
royal
bathing.
Blue. Haha, coincidence.
But the Russian royalty have been caught many times bathing in blood. Before it was called Russia, you know.
Absolutely.
It was bathing in blood.
Well, we can tie this into occultism and pedophilia in the normal society
That's what
today.
it is about. And what's funny is it gets so bad people don't even realise how bad it is. What they're doing is, the adrenochrome is coming out of Hollywood. When these people get famous, if you was ever going to Hollywood, I considered it and then went, oh, no. And so what they do is, they actually trap you. They promise going to make you really, famous, huge. If you think you've got a little bit of potential, which these days don't take nothing because nobody's talented enough.
Right.
Marketing. So, and they say, here's what you got to do. You got to show up at these parties. And the parties get wilder and wilder and wilder and more ritualistic costumes.
And it's abusing
children.
children.
And then eventually you will ingest the blood of a child that has been scared to such near death or death itself experiences that the blood is enriched with adrenochrome. And when they drink adrenochrome, and the other one is melatonin. Melatonin, especially from a menstruating woman, and adrenochrome from a scared child put together and drank, can supposedly increase the human lifespan by decades.
And absolutely, and reverse age. Yes,
but as soon as they stop, if they want to say anything about it, they pull them off and fast.
Have you seen Tangled? The Disney's movie Tangled, where the mother kidnaps the royal child, and the magic hair reverses the age. As soon as they cut the magic hair, she dries up into a nothing. She dies. So they put that symbolic in Disney, which is their goal to manipulate. They have to put it out in there for it to become true.
Well, there is an agreement that the Illuminati made for people that they rule. And that agreement is this: they can get away what they're doing. As
They
long as
tell
they
you
tell you
first.
what they're doing.
Absolutely.
And the funny is they cage it in such a way you go, that's funny. And you
A
don't want
mockery.
that. Yeah, they have to. But they do it anyway if people don't do nothing because it's
Absolutely. Well, I fucking love you. And fuck the government. Save our children.
All the government.
All of them.
You know what though? Like, look, you can't do nothing but sit there and listen when this man is speaking. It's very interesting. I'm not telling y'all to believe it, but damn show is damn interesting, man. Let me know how y'all feel about that in the comments down below. It makes perfect sense if you know. We're gonna keep going though. We're gonna go with the flow. We ain't got time to be making beef with certain people.
Hi guys, hope you're all doing well. So I've got some updates for you today. This was sent over to me from UFOs around the world. Well, it appears that Professor Simon Holland, which apparently he's not, according to some people within the UAP community, has an alien technological signature been found, is the title of this video. Simon Holland, science filmmaker, tells the story behind the announcement. In 2022, Breakthrough Listen published a report saying the signal was so weak it might be human radio interference. He interviewed Dr. Andrew Simeon, principal investigator at Breakthrough Listen this year. He told me, we are still listening and studying BLC-1. What is BLC-1? Apparently it's a planet that's orbiting a nearby star. But data now shows the signal is Doppler shifted during observation by the Movable Dish Radio Telescope, Parkes, Australia. This probably means the source is rotating such as a planet, helping to eliminate the possibility it is just human radio interference. The date of confirmation will probably not be in a few weeks, as said in the newspapers. Confirmation will come after the signal can be further analysed. And this was by Professor Simon Holland, the science filmmaker. So this is really interesting. Breakthrough Listen is obviously, that's Mark Zuckerberg's project, isn't it? So apparently there are rumblings that he is in a race with China to verify the validity of this signal, to see if it in fact has signature of technological life, which based on this video, he goes into a bit more detail about. I would ask you to go to Professor Simon Holland on YouTube and watch his video posted on the 12th of October, which is approximately 11 minutes long. It's not very long, it's very short and sweet. But he goes into a lot more detail about where you can refer to the scientific data supporting what he's saying, and also who he's referring to. And these are well-known names within the industry surrounding sort of radio waves and various other things of picking up signals like this. So that's the first bit of information that I'd like you guys to go and have a look at, just to verify it, and also get as many people looking at this as possible, as this is what we do here. We're trying to discuss this openly so that we can get to the bottom of this. Something that's a little bit more pressing. I recently watched the documentary from Jesse Michaels, which he always does an incredible job when he does these things, with Lou Elizondo. And the thing I pulled away from all of this is that there are some things that Lou knows that I don't think he's shining light on because of his security clearance. He said that time is not of the essence. Time is a luxury we do not have right now. So I'm trying to understand what he's referring to when he's talking about this. Obviously, Matt Ford did ask him about something that's on its way here. And Lou's response was quite simply, I'm aware of it, I know about it, but I can't talk about it. That was his response.
Nigga, why? That's why I gotta say, why? Why not? Tell us the truth, goddammit. Like, you feel me? Like, this is crazy, man.
So, look, that I don't care how that's put. That makes me uncomfortable.
They're trying to slow down the looting and stuff that'll happen if they decide to, like, hey, let's tell y'all we done got into some shit and they coming to collect and we ain't got nothing to show for it. And they about to come run our shit. Let us know. Just tell us the truth. Would y'all rather know up front what it really is? Or do you know in the comments down below? Some of y'all think y'all know everything. Go ahead. Knock yourself out. I'm watching.
And I think it should make everybody uncomfortable, but not to shove it under the rug. We need to openly discuss this to see and verify what this could be. Because what I don't want to do is something shows up and we're all unprepared. I would rather be prepared for something that's coming so we can do our best to mitigate risk now, as opposed to the administration saying, oh, we'll just leave it for the next guys to deal with and just try to ignore it. I don't think that's the right way of doing this. I think we have to learn to be, unfortunately, uncomfortable with uncomfortable news. Now, it might not be something bad. I think a lot of people will immediately assume that it is, but because it's the unknown, there's always that fear factor, isn't there? But I think it's really important that this is openly discussed and that we need to be prepared for whatever it could be. So I'm going to do a lot more digging over the next few weeks to try and work out what this might be and speak to my own people about this and see if there's any discussions going on in certain areas about this. Yeah, that's pretty much it for now, guys. I mean, if there's anything that you guys have heard, please let me know. Sensible responses on this, please. Not nonsense about, the second coming of Christ. I don't want to hear about that. I'm sorry, but that's just not what I'm doing here. I'm trying to just provide you with data and information so that we can, deduce what this is by applying, sensible observation and evaluation and research to get to the bottom of all this. So yeah, that's what my focus is going to be on. And if I find anything, I will report back to you. But in the meantime, if there's anything you guys have heard rumblings on this particular issue, please let me know, and we'll go from there. But that's it for now, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, let them know if y'all heard some rumblings. We heard
That's
that
in Nelson
some rumblings in the sky.
County, Virginia. Rescuers found no survivors.
And look, and this is in the DMV area. This is how they would respond in case something like that happens. So it's strange that this hasn't hit the news or anything like that. It's a little weird, They could at least address it a little bit, just a tiny bit.
ABC News reports the Cessna citation belongs to John Rumpel from Melbourne, Florida. Now, Rumpel says his daughter, granddaughter, Nanny, and their pilot were all on board. A defense official tells NBC News NORAD F-16 scrambled from Joint Base Andrews to intercept a Cessna citation jet that flew over the district. Now, multiple sources say the pilot did not respond to air traffic control and flew into restricted D.C. airspace. NORAD says its jets shadowed the plane and saw the pilot was incapacitated. They followed the plane until it crashed. Our Brad Freitas describes the scene from Chopper 4.
In a debris field roughly the size of a football field near Mine Bank Mountain, about 20 miles south of Staunton, Virginia, several small fires were still burning when Chopper 4 got overhead. The location of the crash so remote, a Virginia State Police helicopter was used to find it before crews could navigate the terrain.
Do what you want with that.
What's so crazy about the Book of Enoch is that even though it is a hidden book of the Bible, it also correlates to ancient Sumerian texts, and Enoch was also said to be in ancient Sumeria the first priest. Welcome back to another episode of That's Insane with Aja, where I talk about the Book of Enoch, Dead Sea Scrolls, as well as ancient apocryphal texts and hidden books of the Bible. Today I'm going to be telling you about how Enoch was in ancient Sumerian text, as well as different parts of the Dead Sea Scrolls, even though that this book was taken from the Bible long before it. Now, first, someone might ask, who was Enoch? Enoch actually was the leader of the archangels. He was said to have walked with God, and he is the author of all 3 books of Enoch that tell his descents across the celestial heavens and this mission that was sent to him by God. Now, these 3 books that were taken out of the Bible recount how Enoch was taken up to the heaven and was appointed guardian of the celestial treasures, chief of the archangels, and the immediate attendant on the throne of God. He was subsequently taught all secrets and mysteries, and with all the angels at his back, fulfills his own according to whatever the mouth of God says. He lived 365 years and was taken when God took him up to heaven as he walked with God, which basically means he entered heaven alive. Now, the first book of Enoch is where we meet the fallen angels who mate with humans and create the Nephilim, and they create sirens, and they mate with 200 different species of animals on earth and teach women makeup and give war to men, and they basically corrupt mankind. And we see Enoch go on this mission.
Boy, that motherfucker right there that gave somebody the art of making makeup and look like that. I see why they came up with the makeup. Facts.
To trap the angels under the Euphrates River and do things that God tells him to do, even before Noah built his ark, because Enoch was the great-grandfather of Noah. And he asked God to save his bloodline, which would be Noah, and this is why Noah was able to build the ark and got the information from God. The thing about the book of Enoch was that it was found in multiple different places on scribes and even in cuneiform script. It was found in the Qumran caves, and it was a part of the Dead Sea Scroll, as well as part of the apocryphal text and even in ancient Sumerian tablets. One might think, why is it significant that the book of Enoch even correlates to ancient Sumeria? But that is because the ancient Sumerian people believed in the Anunnaki and gave them all types of glory and said that they practiced things like gene splicing. But for Enoch to pop up in ancient Sumerian text and in other biblical texts is absolutely significant, and we should pay attention. Now, in ancient Sumeria, Enoch was known as the first priest, or En-mi-dor-en-kai, like Anunnaki. Notice how when they describe Enoch as the priest, it has that last word, En-kai, which is where the Anunnaki came from, who were said to be the sons and daughters of An and Kai. And Enoch was further known as the man from the city Sippar, taken heavenward to be taught the secrets of heaven and earth, of divination, and the calendar. This is extremely significant because do you guys know that the Sumerian are the reason we can calculate time down to seconds and minutes? They came up with the metric system, the wheel, irrigation, and they gave all of this, like circumference, like, oh, we learned this because of the Anunnaki and because of Enoch, or the first priest to travel to heaven. Now, this video is already 3 to 4 minutes, so I'm gonna do a part 2, but just know it's gonna blow your mind. So like, follow, share for more.
Trillion-ton iceberg, which we're just hearing has broken off Antarctica.
Sudden burst of solar activity, which melted down those ice sheets, but that's not what I go with.
38 people disappeared overnight while headed from Chile to Antarctica.
Locked in away ice, Antarctica guards mysteries that might just rewrite the story of our past and shake up everything we thought we knew. A former naval officer and a journalist have shared shocking stories on how they discovered an entrance to a secret alien base containing UFOs in Antarctica. How did this naval flight engineer Brian discover this secret alien base? How is the world power trying to hide it from the entire planet? Join us on this intriguing journey as we explore the terrifying truths of the US terrifying claim that aliens are hiding in Antarctica. The naval officer's revelation. In January 2015, investigative reporter Linda Moulton Howe stumbled upon a mysterious Antarctic tale when she got an email from Brian, a retired US naval flight engineer with a wild story from his time in Antarctica in the 80s and 90s. Brian dropped a bombshell, claiming he saw some seriously strange stuff during his 4,000 flight hours over Antarctica.
Naval flight engineer. He's asked me to call him only Brian.
The juiciest part of the story is that he stumbled upon a massive, perfect circle carved into the Antarctic ice sheet, leading to a glowing cave entrance below. But here's where it gets even weirder. When Brian tried to get closer, all the gadgets in his aircraft went haywire, and they had to do an emergency restart. After that encounter, shady authorities confiscated records and gave Brian and his crew the silent treatment. Intrigued by the craziness of Brian's story, Linda dug deeper.
Something archaeological in Antarctica.
Brian later spilled the beans on what went down. In 1987, during a resupply flight out of McMurdo Station, Brian and his crew got last-minute orders to pick up something from a remote campsite in Antarctica's interior. When they arrived, they found the camp trashed and deserted, with no sign of human activity anywhere. This creepy scenario kicked off a string of disappearances at Antarctic stations. Odd radio bursts in strange languages popped up before each disappearance, coming from some unknown source deep under the ice. As the crew got jittery, Brian's co-pilot spotted a big shiny craft silently cruising past their cockpit. It was like something out of a sci-fi movie. A white...
Okay, stop scrolling. I'm about to prove to you we live on this and not on this.
and also at the same time prove to you that God's word is true and accurate. First of all, they got us believing that these rockets are leaving Earth, when in fact they can't because of this, the firmament. And here's the proof. Let me introduce y'all to Wernher von Braun, which is known as the father of NASA. He also helped develop the Saturn V rocket, which allegedly took Apollo 11 to the moon. On his grave, he quoted a Bible verse, Psalms 19:1. Psalms 19, verse 1. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. And the Hebrew translation for firmament is extended surface, solid expanse. The vault of heaven or firmament regarded by Hebrews as solid and supporting the waters above it. We take a look at the book of Job, chapter 37, verse 18. Hast thou with them spread out the sky, which is strong, and as a molten looking glass. So the firmament that is supporting the waters above is literally made out of glass. Anyways, have you guys noticed when they launch these rockets, they never go straight up, they always curve? I mean, it almost looks like they're taking the shape of the firmament. I mean, we could see it in Disney's logo. Wernher von Braun and Walt Disney were best friends. It also has a little strange pattern going through it. Isaiah 40:22, is it he that sitteth upon the circle, not ball, of the earth, and the inhabitants thereof are as grasshoppers, that stretcheth out the heavens as a curtain, and spreadeth them out as a tent to dwell in. Again, stretcheth out the heavens as a curtain, and spreadeth them out as a tent to dwell in. Here's a test. Would you say this looks like a circle and a tent to dwell in? Or this looks like a circle and a tent to dwell in? Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. God's word is true. He wants a relationship with you and not a religion. Anyways, like, follow, and share for more. And like always, God bless.
Wernher von Braun invents rockets. The V2 was the first ballistic missile that leaves our atmosphere, goes into the vacuum of space, and comes back and hits its target. Yeah. He knew, even though this is deputized for warfare, that after the war, if you're going to go into space, you're going to need something like that. We knew that too. We didn't put him on the line at Nuremberg. We got him to birth the Apollo program and design the rocket that would go to the moon, using his expertise that he used to terrorize London with the V2 rocket.
I think it's all strictly crossbreeding, humans with dogs and cattle and all that kind of stuff. And the stories of Nightmare Hall is true, and that's one of the levels. I think it's the 7th level where they have all the experiments gone wrong, but for one reason or another they don't want to kill them. So whoever goes down there, they hear the howling and screaming, and that's where all those terrible stories come from. When I met Cherry, she had seen the 7 black and white photos, but not the videotape. The security guard allowed her to make a pencil drawing of the 25 black and white photos, not all of them, but some. And she handed me 8.5 by 11 piece of paper with her pencil drawing of what was in those photos. And I think there were 6 pages. And those are the ones she asked me to copy in felt tip black, which I did, identical to what she had, and those I released as the Dulce papers, and they became the infamous Dulce papers. I think it's all strictly...
This movie is so much fun. Let's do it. Cabin in the Woods opens up with these 2 scientists, Gary and Steve, talking about this upcoming ritual.
See, I ain't doing too much talking in this. Like, look, man, it's crazy that, like, people can collectively be on the same page. Y'all sent me these videos. Y'all either tag me in them and stuff like that. I arrange them in a way where it can give you a picture of like what everybody is seeing and what's going on. This is a complete story. It's pretty dope, man. Y'all smash that like button, man. Smash that like button. I'm not telling y'all to believe anything in this video, just to get those creative juices flowing to like the possibilities of this world that we live in.
Meanwhile, we see these 5 college friends getting ready
but
to
they
go.
say that they put a lot of this stuff in movies right in your face, like the government does have money to spend on movies. There's a budget for that, you know what I'm saying, for a reason, but it is what it is. You feel me? They put a lot of stuff, especially nowadays. You got to watch what your children are watching. tune into their their cartoons and stuff like that, because it's a lot of messages that they put right there in front of their faces. There was a lot of messages in the stuff that we watched growing up that our parents didn't necessarily pay attention to. But we hit, man. We definitely taking care of ours over here, man. Watch what your children are watching. But this right here is like right in your face. It's kind of weird. Remember all the experiments and stuff, the cloning and everything else, but people think that is out of possibilities. Like, yeah, right. That's when man, we know ourselves, right?
Spend a weekend at a remote cabin in the woods. So we got Dana, Jules, Kurt, Holden, and Marty. So on their way to the cabin, they go to a gas station and you see the typical trope of like the old guy telling them to turn around, go back. They ignore it and continue on. They eventually get to the cabin and they go to the basement where they find all these like weird relics. And everybody's like, oh, we should check this out. And Marty's the only one that's like, no, the fuck we shouldn't. Let's go back upstairs and get away from all this weird shit. But obviously they don't listen. Dana ends up reading a passage from a diary that she finds, which ends up summoning a zombie family. Now, back at the lab, we see that everything in the house is being manipulated and the group is being watched. And there's this really funny scene where they all had bets on which relic somebody was going to choose, which then was going to summon a certain entity. So we see like mermaid, vampires, and then zombie redneck torture family, which is the one that they get. So again, the lab is manipulating everything. So Kurt and Jules go for a walk in the woods. And the crew pumps pheromones into the air, which causes them to start getting intimate. And while they're doing that, they are attacked and Jules is decapitated and Kurt manages to escape back into the house. So we find out that Marty is the only one not being manipulated by the drugs that the lab is pumping into the house because he smokes a whole bunch of weed and it stops the effects of the drugs. He discovers a surveillance camera that the crew is using to watch them, but then is dragged off by a zombie. Back at the lab, they're talking about how this ritual is humanity's last hope, and this recently failed in Japan and other places. Meanwhile, the three remaining friends, Dana, Holden, and Kurt, try to escape via the RV, but the lab manipulates the tunnel to crash. Kurt attempts to make a jump on his bike to the other side of the ravine, but in this really cool scene, he like smashes into a force field and dies. So now Dana and Holden realize that this whole thing is being manipulated, but as they're having a conversation about how to get out of it, Holden is attacked by a zombie and dies. So the lab now celebrates because there's one remaining survivor, which is how the ritual is supposed to go. But they don't realize that Marty is still alive. So Marty takes Dana to this hidden elevator that he finds, and when they descend, they see all of these different creatures behind glass walls. And they realize that all of these creatures were represented by items in the basement, so they basically chose their own way to die. So when they get out, they end up in the control room and they are cornered by security. So they do what anybody would do and they unleash all the creatures by opening the elevator doors. This might be one of my favorite horror movie scenes ever because it's just absolute chaos. And you just see all the different creatures killing everybody in different ways. Marty and Dana escape the chaos where they are confronted by the director, who is our Queen Sigourney Weaver. She basically explains that they were part of an annual ritual of human sacrifice that they used to appease the ancient ones. During this ritual, they sacrifice 5 people who kind of satisfy all the horror tropes. So like the whore, the athlete, the scholar, the fool, and the virgin, who is Dana, who was supposed to survive. So she tries to convince Dana to kill Marty to complete the ritual and save the world. And Dana almost does it, but then is attacked by a werewolf. Meanwhile, one of the other creatures kills the director. Marty ends up killing the creatures, and he and Dana decide that humanity is not even worth saving. And they sit there and smoke a joint as the world ends.
Hell nah. Hell nah. You feel me? But look, that's what they said they out there doing, man. Look, do y'all think there's a secret laboratory out here in the world where they're creating fucking monsters and mutants and stuff like that? And that's what they be trying to keep on the low. The possibilities are endless. But I would hope not, you know?
The second you realize,
don't let none of that shit escape,
and come to terms with the fact that World War III is a war between 2 distinct primate species, everything starts to make sense. I'm sure you're aware of some of the stories from all the anthropological findings from science that the Denisovans and the Cro-Magnons and the Homo erectus and the Homo sapien were out there basically battling for dominance. What you probably haven't heard is that the Bible tells you all about this. The story of the Nephilim and the gods and the fallen ones and the giants and Cain and Abel and Noah and his sons. These are all different species of primates, folks. The Bible was telling you about evolution and real history. Okay, so fast forward to today. we now have two predominant higher primates warring for the soul of the world. These two primates are analogous to the relationship that bonobos and chimpanzees have to one another. One is relatively kind, compassionate, creative, loving, open, caring, and giving. The other is kind of nasty, doesn't really have any emotional connection or empathy, thinks they're superior to the other one, and wants to literally rule the world. I'm not being facetious or metaphoric. There's literally two distinct species, genetically, on the planet right now. One wants to conquer us and oppress us. The other one just wants to live happy. They are infiltrators and colonizers. So wherever you see colonization, infiltration, massive deceit, secret societies, you can probably find some of their kind. They are liars, they are name stealers, they pose as other people and then commit crimes in their name so it makes them look bad. And they think they're superior to us. They think we're like zoo animals, right? Servants to them. Now here's the thing, they have a slight advantage in certain areas. For one, their IQ is usually about 25 points more than our species. Secondly, they're masters of war because they preoccupy all their time with conquering. Like they're built that way. They're a war species. And Jeremiah chapter 5 actually tells you all about them. They tell you their tactics, they tell you how they appear from out of nowhere, they tell you how they're going to try to oppress the other species, and all of those things happened. So here's the real issue. That species that wants to conquer is highly organized. The ones that just want to live in peace, well, most of them are the indigenous people, and they're just living out their lives in natural spaces and not playing a part of the game. Then there's a bunch of us that are a mixed race. We're a combination of those two. We have the darkness and the light within us. And we have to make a choice to what world we're going to live in. Are we going to obey the oppressor's commands, or are we going to return to nature and learn from the indigenous again and take back this world? It's your choice whether to believe me or not. A lot of people are going to say I'm crazy and call me lots of different nasty names, but this is just the case. I'm telling you the truth, whether you want to believe it or not. But I would suggest you do your own research and start looking into this, because what you're going to find is I'm absolutely right. And this is actually the crux of the problem. And why we keep having wars. All the world wars are because of these two species fighting with each other. One of us was made about 10,000 years ago. We were genetically modified by a natural primate. The second one, the conqueror, was made about 200 to 1,000 years ago and was made using us, but they modified them. Take it or leave it, but it'll really help you to have some clear lenses to see the world through.
Well, damn, how do y'all feel about that? You know, that's very, 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 very interesting. So, you know, I'm not one of those people that force my beliefs on anybody or whatever. We share interesting topics. We tag each other in videos. We make these videos here and we discuss, right? So, I mean, it's a lot to digest there. There could be a possibility that they could be absolutely doing Project Bluebeam, working on it, getting y'all convinced, getting you worked up, stuff falling out the sky, you know, and then all of a sudden, yeah, it's a takeover or something like that. And then all of a sudden, you know, we know that these niggas will start something and then they come in and act like they saving the day when they the one that started it in the first place. That's insanity. But we know that's definitely a possibility. But also, we reverse engineer, you know, technology and stuff like that. Technology is being suppressed and we're being held behind because particular reasons, just, you know, so we can stay slow and stupid. But, you know, that's why we have these conversations, you know, so we can see the bigger picture and see where everybody is at. Because one thing that we don't do is organize a lot better than what we can as like-minded people. You know, we got our own opinions. We can vibrate on a certain level, but we got to stop condemning each other because we're working together at the end of the day. You know, it's an energy thing with me. But let me know what y'all can possibly think it is. Do you think it's aliens? Do you think it's Project Bluebeam? Or, you know, is it fireworks? Or nigga, we just tripping? But look, either way, you know, interesting, man. I'll be definitely dropping another video, so keep y'all notifications on. Share these videos with your friends and your families. But look, man, like I always say, spread love because there's too much hate in this world. Love you guys. I'll see you in the next video. And I'm out, though. Blah.